Hello and welcome to The Right Life with me, Elaine Collier. Now, last time I was here, I read you Donna's story, and today I'm going to read you Fiona's. If you remember, Donna and Fiona are the main characters from my Innocents Abroad crime series books, and they are both like my really good friends. So this is Fiona's story. I'm so excited, I can't believe I'm doing it. I'm going on holiday with Donna tomorrow. I finally stood up to Jeremy and told him I'm going whether he likes it or not. Oh my God, this is such an amazing and liberating feeling. I feel like I did when Donna and I was much younger and it was the end of term at university, the night before we went off around Europe for the summer. I've got that same feeling. Eager anticipation for all that may happen. I am so unbelievably excited. I just hope Jeremy doesn't spoil it all for me now. I often ask myself why I married Jeremy. Well, no, that's not exactly true. What I mean is, I'm not sure why I've stayed married to Jeremy. It was all fine at first, and I suppose I must have loved him at some point, but looking back now, it was never that type of exciting, all-consuming passion. You know, the type that makes your pulse race and your stomach kind of flip. He wasn't bad looking then, tall, dark, and with a fairly good body. He's still tall, but his hair is turning grey and he's going a bit bald on the crown, although he won't have that, and his body is a little bit pudgier. But hey, I'm not perfect, so have little room to talk there. He's always liked perfection and has been on at me over the years saying he can fix me, but I don't want to be fixed. Just after we were married, he said he would do a boob job and he couldn't understand why I refused. Jeremy's a plastic surgeon, you see. He does NHS work at our local hospital, the JR here in Oxford, and also runs a clinic in Harley Street. I didn't want a boob job. I was quite happy with the boobs I had, but he reckoned he could enhance them with a bit of silicone pumped in. No, thank you. I didn't want to be one of those women whose tits point upright when they're lying on the beach. No, I was happy with mine disappearing somewhere under my armpits. Next came the tummy tuck. This was after I'd given birth to Lauren, and maybe my stomach wasn't nice and flat like it once was when we first married. It was a bit saggy and crisscrossed with stretch marks that resembled a London Underground map. But it was my stomach and the place where I grew my babies. I refused surgery, and it made him cross. He couldn't understand why, when he could give me a lovely, smooth, flat stomach, and I wouldn't look so gross on the beach. I never wore a bikini after that. Then came the facelift. Okay, as I'm approaching 50, I've got a few wrinkles, but I prefer to call them my laughter lines. Not that there's been much laughter in my life in the past couple of decades. But again I said no, and again he sulked. I have tried to keep myself in shape by watching what I eat and doing yoga and Pilates. I keep the grey from my hair by regular visits to my hairdresser, who does a splendid job with the highlights. I try to minimise the wrinkles by cleverly using cosmetics rather than plastering the cracks with foundation. I cover my sagging body. But it's never quite enough for Jeremy. In every other aspect of our married life, I have complied with his wishes. I didn't have more babies after Lauren, as Jeremy said 2 was enough. I sent my children to private school, although I thought the local schools were perfectly adequate. I drew the line at sending them off to boarding school, though. I mean, why have children if you're going to send them away? I joined his colleagues' wives at their regular lunch club, even though they're totally boring. I throw dinner parties and entertain the influential and the wealthy. I accompany him frequently when he needs a presentable wife on his arm. I managed to continue working after I had James, but gave up after Lauren, mainly because Jeremy didn't want me to work anymore. What he meant was he didn't want his colleagues to think he couldn't support his family, so it would look bad if his wife went out to work. We certainly didn't need the money, that was true, but I think giving up my job was the worst thing, and I regret that the most. After I got my doctorate, I worked in the forensic unit for Thames Valley Police. I loved that job. I loved the people I worked with, and we were friends both inside and outside of work. When I went on maternity leave with Lauren, it was always with a view that I was going back. Even when I said I wouldn't be returning, my boss told me the door would always be open and he would welcome me back at any time. My poor old dad, bless him, encouraged me for all he was worth to continue my studies. He must have known that I would love it and, what's more, be good at what I did. That sounds a bit like blowing my own trumpet, doesn't it? I certainly don't mean to, but I do think I was good at my job. We got some outstanding results and I felt extremely proud to be part of that. Mum encouraged me to get my doctorate too, but only because it gave her great pleasure to keep referring to me as my daughter the doctor. I kept telling her I was not a doctor in the true sense of the word, not a medical doctor, but that didn't seem to matter to her. In her view, a doctor was a doctor. Mum was very status conscious, your typical hyacinth bouquet. Dad used to laugh and refer to her as the lady of the house. Don't get me wrong, I love my mum, but I don't think she ever stood the real me, whereas Dad did. Mum was all surface. Dad looked beneath. I was an only child, and they doted on me. I came along later in life and very much a surprise addition to the family. Mum was prouder of her own achievement in producing me, and of course any achievement of mine was a reflection on her. Dad just loved me. My childhood was quite lonely. Oh, I had school friends, and I would play with the other kids in the street, but it wasn't like having siblings at home. Holidays were a nightmare, and it was real tough for me to break the ice and find someone to play with. The other kids all had brothers and sisters, so we were never alone. I just wanted someone to like me and want me enough to come and call for me to play. I was so jealous of those kids. How I wanted a brother and sister too. Someone to play with, to share life with, I guess. But it never happened. Sometimes now I watch those TV programs, Long Lost Family or something like that, where they find missing parents and siblings, and I often wish someone would knock at my door and say, "Hey, I think we found your long lost brother or sister." How wonderful would that be? Of course, just because they're a blood relative doesn't mean you'll get on, but I would just like the opportunity. I remember asking my dad once a few years ago whether there might be any chance of that happening, and he just laughed and said, "No, darling, there's not." So that dashed any hope I once had. I suppose Donna is the sister I never had. She knows me better than anyone, certainly that better than Mum does, that's for sure. I bless the day we met at university all those years ago, and the fact that we were too late to get into the halls of residence and ended up sharing a house. God knows why Donna and I hit it off. We were total opposites, but we did. If it wasn't for her, my days at uni would have been a lot different. I was shy in those days, probably too shy to go out and seek friends, and certainly would never have gone along to any social events on my own. No, Donna was a lifesaver, and we ended up doing everything and going everywhere together. Life at uni with Donna was bloody amazing. Donna taught me a lot, how to be brave, how to stand up for myself, try new things, and have confidence in myself. She taught me how to party, how to not give a toss what others thought of me, how to deal with a hangover. She taught me to swear. Mum would have been horrified if she knew the half that went on then. Thank God she didn't. But that was then, and here I am now, stuck in a life where I see little chance of change. Is this how my life will be? Plodding on till one of us dies. It's a really nasty thing to think, but I hope Jeremy goes first. Oh, how awful is that? But at least then I could rebuild my life in the way I would like it to be. First thing to go would be the bloody ladies at lunch club. But no, I shouldn't think about Jeremy like that. He's been good over the years. He's a good provider and gives me a general allowance. He doesn't abuse me, and he's very gracious towards me when we're out with his friends and colleagues. No, I could have done a lot worse than Jeremy. It's just a shame I'm not in love with him. Not like Donna and Dave. They still have the spark after all these years. Donna never liked Jeremy. She thought he was pompous and arrogant. She called him much more than that, I can tell you. I had hoped that we might do things together as a foursome, like evenings out and holidays, but it never happened. She and Dave came a few times, but Jeremy was an arse, I have to admit. In his eyes, he didn't think they lived up to our standard. He never understood that Donna and Dave are the most together real couple you could ever meet. Of course, when I told him I was going to Rhodes with Donna to celebrate our 50th birthdays, he went ballistic and forbade me to go. I saw red then, and I think I actually told him that I wasn't asking his permission to go. I was just informing him that I was going. How brave was that? Oh, he's made me pay for my bravery. He's spending more and more time away from home. He claims he's at the golf club or staying over in London for an early start in the clinic the following morning. I often wonder if he's having an affair. To be honest, I don't care. Anyway, here I am, the eve of my holiday with Donna, and I'm so excited. I'm sure we'll have an amazing time. But to be honest, just being with her for a couple of weeks is all I need right now. I don't care if we stay in the hotel for the entire holiday and not go anywhere. It would just be nice not to be here. I know that won't happen, of course, because Donna loves life too much and it's always up for a good time. She always has been, and I don't expect the years have slowed her down at all. I wonder who we'll meet on this trip, who we'll stay in touch with, and who we'll be glad to see the back of. Oh my God, I just can't wait. I better go to bed now and try to get some sleep. But I know that won't happen. I am just so excited. So that's Fiona, and that's both of their stories. And if you want to find out more and what went on that holiday, you can pick up a copy of A Greek Misadventure in Amazon. They're available on Amazon in paperback, ebook, and they're also on Kindle Unlimited if you pay a subscription to that. Okay, that's it from me for now. Talk again soon. Bye.